Hey there, mathematicians. Today we are going to learn all about two-dimensional shapes. Now, I know that you already know a whole bunch about shapes. Like, I know that you know what a circle is, what a triangle is, a rectangle. What's another common shape? Oh yeah, a square, right? You know what those are. If I showed you them, you would be able to identify those shapes and name them. But let's dig a little deeper. Let's learn a little Latin, and let's start to try to figure out how we can sort those shapes and analyze those shapes, how they're similar and how they're different. Let's learn what an actual side is, and let's go. Let's dig into the next level of your shape knowledge. Let's start off by thinking about the number of sides that a shape has. Well, first you have to ask yourself the question, what is a side, right? So the side in a shape in geometry, special math language, means that it's straight, right? It's a straight side. So that means that shapes like a circle are definitely not going to have any sides because they're curved. So anything that has a curve or has all curves would have 0 sides. So let's think about this. This would be things like a circle or an oval, or even a heart, right? Because those shapes are like this, right? They're all curved. So those have 0 sides. Let's go ahead and put these up on our chart right here. Circle, and also we've got an oval, right? An oval. And a whole bunch of other shapes too probably might have 0 sides, but those are our main ones, our circle and oval. What about one side? Or 2 sides. Does that make sense for a shape? You might notice that my chart here has 0 to 3. So think about it. A side is just a line, right? It's just a straight line. So a line goes on forever and ever and ever, but a little piece of it might be called a line segment. But that's not a shape, right? Let's think about this. Let's think about 2 lines together. What if we had two sides to a shape? Would that be a shape? No, that's not a shape either, because a shape is a closed figure. It needs something else to close it up, right? This is called an angle right here. When we have 2 line segments that come together, that's an angle. Well, what is the shape what's next then? If we don't have 1 or 2, what is a shape with 3 sides? That's right, it's a triangle. Let's put it over here. Tri means 3, right? So any shape that has 3 sides is a triangle. What kind of triangles are there? I mean, there's equilateral triangles where all 3 sides are the same length. There's a right triangle when you've got, well, is that right? It makes like an L. It doesn't quite look right, but it just goes kind of like this. And then we have, that's another kind of triangle. There's really big triangles, really small triangles, really fat triangles, really skinny triangles, but in the end, because there's 3 sides, they're all called triangles. This next part is kind of next level because these are called quadrilaterals. So what do you think quad means? Think about things that have the word quad in it. Like we come into the quad, which is like a middle of space in an area, right? It's all enclosed. Or you might ride on a quad, if anyone's ever done that, right? I don't know. Well, quad is Latin for 4. So what do you think that means? Quadrilateral. Yeah, 4 sides. These are all the figures that have 4 sides. And holy moly, there are so many quadrilaterals. So the one that I like to think about first is the rectangle, right? A rectangle has these right angles right here, and they look kind of like an L or then a flipped L. And a rectangle is a quadrilateral that has 4 right angles. Shape. Yeah, it's a square. Now, a square is actually a special type of rectangle. A square is basically a rectangle that has all 4 sides that are the same length. Okay, this next one is this next level of understanding about shapes. It's called a parallelogram. What does that mean? Well, parallel lines are like this. They're side to side, and they go on forever and ever, and they'll never touch. So they're not going to intersect, and intersecting lines would be like this, right? Nope. Parallel lines are right next to each other, and they keep going on and on and on and on and on and on, and they'll never touch, or they'll never intersect. A parallelogram is basically like a rectangle that goes wonk and is pushed to the side. It has two sets of parallel lines. Check it out. So here's our parallelogram, right? And there's this set of parallel lines goes on and on and on and on, and this set of parallel lines goes on and on and on and on. And that is basically like a little sideways rectangle with two sets of parallel lines. But wait, there's more. Another quadrilateral is what's right here? The trapezoid. A trapezoid has only one set of parallel lines. So it's usually like the top and the bottom when you look at pictures, and they would go on forever and ever and ever and never touch. But the ones on the side, if they kept going on forever and ever and ever, they would intersect. So check out this trapezoid. See? Top and the bottom, parallel lines. The other ones, if they keep going, would eventually intersect. And you can have a fat trapezoid like this one, or a skinnier one like this. But it's as long as it's a quadrilateral with two sets of parallel lines and two other sets of lines that are not parallel, that is a trapezoid. Miss Cottle, aren't you done with quadrilaterals yet? Almost, I promise. So the last one I have is a rhombus. What? Miss Cottle, this looks like a diamond. Yep. A rhombus is basically a fancy math word for a diamond. So what that means is you've got a quadrilateral, and we actually do have two sets of parallel lines again, just kind of like a parallelogram, but all four sides are the same length. That's the tricky thing about a rhombus. It's like a square where you have all four sides of the same length, but a square has those right angles like a rectangle, and a rhombus does not, right? Do you see how if these kept going on and on and on, oh, look, they intersect like that. So anyhow, a rhombus is a fancy math word for a diamond. Isn't that all the shapes? That's it, right? No, of course not. There's so many different shapes. There's lots of irregular shapes, not the ones I'm showing you today necessarily, but I have a couple more regular shapes I want to show you. A regular shape, all of the sides here, these are the same length. So this one is called a hexagon, and hex means 6 in Latin. So how many sides do you think a hexagon has? Yep, 6 sides. So here's our hexagon. Let's put that right over here. Ta-da-da-da. And the last one I'm going to show you today is called an octagon. What do you think that means? Think of an octopus. How many arms does an octopus have? Yeah, my favorite number, 8. So here it is, everyone, the octagon. The most famous octagon you see everywhere is a stop sign. Let's go ahead and put that on our chart. Whoa, let's review. For 0 sides, we have a circle and an oval. With 3 sides, no matter how it looks, if it has 3 sides, it's called a triangle. Now look at all those quadrilaterals with 4 sides. Rectangle, square, parallelogram, trapezoid, and rhombus. Remember, hex means 6, so a 6-sided figure is a hexagon. And then 8 is oct, and so that is an octagon, an 8-sided figure. That's a lot. There are some more too. Other names of shapes have to do with the number of sides, like a pentagon has 5 sides, or a nonagon has 9 sides, or a decagon has 10 sides. That's just getting a little intense. You're welcome to keep studying Latin roots and all kinds of names of shapes, but if you've got these basic ones here, you are good to go. Great job, everyone. Keep learning about shapes and look for them all around you. I bet you can find some. And now you can name them too.